sometimes, myself included, you just take a silly bet for fun. I hope it was that. Otherwise, we're going to see something even more extreme next time.
Or my stage saying in the chat, poros
Really
are
good.
good, trust me.
Saying trust me doesn't make us want to trust you more.
I can see you laughing there, Orb Meister. I know you don't take this seriously. Am I a joke to you? And it will be his prankster deck banned out this time. So we're gonna see the Draven Burn and the Poro deck coming out of Orb Meister.
This is it. This is the dream. What was the ban on Pedro's side? Sorry, was Pedro banned?
Pedro banned Prankster, but I didn't actually see what Orb Meister banned, and he didn't tell us in the chat, and now that he's into game, I don't think we're actually going to get to find out.
It's fine, we'll soon see. Going against.
Going against the Noxus Spiders, and I think that the Noxus Spiders should be a little bit favored in this matchup. The Poros don't get as much chump block value against things like Precious Pet and Crimson Disciple, things of that nature. But we'll have to see. It looks like Orbmeister actually going to keep at least contemplating keeping a Poro opener for the first time.
It's the dream. If this wins, I am going to be entirely shocked. We kind of joked about it earlier on, but now it's actually potentially going to happen. I don't know how I feel about it.
Actually, mulligans away the Poro snacks after keeping the two Poros in hand. Does pick up the Aurora Borealis, and yeah, there's the Precious Pet that I was talking about. No answer to that one.
Oh, it's that Poro emoji. Oh.
My head hurts.
I'm sitting down and I'm going, I kind of want to comment on what the next best thing to do is, but I don't think I'm right, so I just don't want to say anything. I'm like, does he just drop the green lane? And the answer's like, well, probably yeah, but honestly, the way he's been playing this, I couldn't tell you if it's the right thing to do or not.
The one thing that I am curious about, and I'm only mildly curious because I don't think this actually happens, but if Orb Meister would float turn 3 to get the turn 4 Aurora Borealis, I think the big problem with Aurora Borealis is that it doesn't give you anything at a discount, so it's essentially a 13 mana card if you do want to fire off the two Poro snacks as well.
It's an expensive card, that's for sure.
Yeah, and maybe it's in here for the slower matchups, and it is just really unfortunate that he picked it up here off the top.
Which has been happening in a lot of rounds with him, though, to be fair, so...
Yeah, I definitely think you slammed the Mighty Poro to be able to take out that Elise. Offer up a block onto the Precious Pet and Disciple if you so choose. And I feel like it does behoove him to kill both the 3 health units, is going to be the case. I wouldn't even hate necessarily the Poro blocking onto the Spiderling. Just preserving as much of your life total as possible. You would still have the card advantage over your opponent thanks to the Lonely Poro, but actually is just going to let the Spiderling go through. And I think that is a little bit weird. I would have been fine, for example, attacking my Overwhelmed Poro into a Precious Pet, but attacking it into a Spiderling is not something that I'm willing to do.
Yeah. Oh, there it is, the real MVP of this deck, to be honest with you.
You can call it a Poro deck all you want, but the Windfarer Hatchling has done much more work than these Poros have.
I'm calling it now. He's going to win this game. Turn 7. Popping down that hatchling. He
actually is like very well poised going into this, like going into the turn so far. Franco Dell has done a very substandard job of lowering the life total of Orbmeister and getting him into the burn range. Granted, things aren't over yet. Orbmeister is pretty far away from winning the game, and while he does have the Windfarer turn 7, I do think that things going long sort of favor Franco Dell, who does have Decimates and Noxian Fervors, and Orbmeister really doesn't have a way to stop them.
Not happy with that Elixir of Iron, I think. Could have read that face wrong, but I have a feeling he wasn't too pleased.
It almost felt like he was like, I didn't really want this, and then realizes that his 1/3 attack unit is at 1 HP and says, actually I'm okay with this, but Does have to be cognizant of something like a transfusion this turn. Always the scariest thing your opponent can do with that Disciple on board.
I definitely think you pass this. Let's see what else is going to come on board, if anything.
Yeah, I definitely like leaving the Fury of the North mana available over just developing the Shadow Assassin. I don't think you really want to block with the Shadow Assassin. There are Ravenous Butchers in the deck, but that doesn't really matter. You can't get them down at this point. So, yeah, I actually think the more cards I see come out of Franco Dell's hand, especially ones that represent as little damage as these Curse Keepers do, I definitely feel like Orb Meister is more and more favored.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Nice. That's very nice, actually.
Now I'm a little bit worried for Orb Meister. As I had mentioned, these were very low-ranking units in my mind, but that Noxian Fervor does essentially represent 6 damage, thanks to the extra 3 coming out of this Escaped Abomination as well. And Orb Meister's got to make a choice. Does he want to block and kill the Crimson Disciple, or does he want to have the blocker for the Precious Pet? I feel like he's going to have to use this Fury of the North defensively this turn. And
it always feels bad when you have an overwhelmed unit in play as well to use that Fury defensively, but
yeah, I think it's actually going to work out really well for him. Oh, we're even going to see the Disciple held back.
Interesting. I wouldn't have expected that.
I assume that means that there is a Imperial Demolitionist as the last card for Franco Dell. Yeah, I think 2 damage you're kind of fine with taking. You were going to take at least that amount anyway. And holding back this Disciple could actually play very poorly for Franco.
Just questioning why. I feel as though this would have been the block anyway. I don't think he... Well, there's an argument to let the Precious Pet knuckle through, but with so many Poros, Theslia, Poro Herder, love to see it. Yeah, it's a choice.
Oh, this stupid Poro Snacks is actually going to get value. I hate this game, Wolf.
I don't believe it, man. You know what? I'm not even mad at this point. At this point, he's going to do it. I told you. Oh, wait. Okay, maybe not turn 7. Turn 8 is his actual attack phase.
Yeah, I actually didn't love attacking with the 1/1 Poros. I think there's a non-zero chance that this extra 2 damage coming out, because, like, sure, you know, your opponent's only going to block your Mighty Poro with a 1/1, you get the Poro Snack Cheese, and then you do have a good blocker for the Disciple that's not going to make you take damage, but if Orb Meister dies to exact lethal, I'm going to have to cite back to this play a little bit later on is the reason.
Transfusion could also have came out as well. Oh, but that instead is also an interesting call. I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I actually think that plays pretty well for Orb Meister, who, once again, might only take 2 damage. Oh, the Hapless Aristocrat is the last card. Okay, yeah, I actually really like Orb Meister's position at the moment. He gets this turn to Poro Hoarder and start to refuel on the board, set up for the Windfarer Hatchling lethal. The scary part is you definitely don't want to take 4 damage this turn, which means you are going to lose your elusive unit.
I think this is fine still. I wouldn't be too upset with this outcome. With the Poro Herder as well, he's going to get a really wide board before he can potentially play that win. Oh, okay. I'll do that.
Yeah. Actually, now does represent lethal on the following turn with that Windfarer Hatchling because he has the 2 elusives.
Mm-hmm.
Demolitionist coming down, and that does...
I mean, the further top deck would potentially win.
Yeah, that's where things get really scary.
Yeah, that is... You know what? I'm not sure if that's the right move or not, but I get it, and I'm not upset with it.
Yeah,
I think that's right. I think this changes his turn from instead of going for potential lethal, unless he pulls something really good, which he didn't. it might turn this into more of a get the Poro Herder and go wide, and then wait to play your 7 at turn 10.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I think that's what it's gonna do.
I think the problem was that it gives your opponent 2 more turns to find the burn to kill you. Granted, it's so weird because it gives your opponent more time to find Decimate, but Decimate doesn't kill you. And the only card you lost to off the top was Noxian Fervor. So the Elise coming down does mean that Orb Meister would have won game number 1 if he took that risk. There was already one Noxian Fervor gone, but as you said, I definitely understand respecting the card.
Yeah, I think at this point now, I think he 100% wins. Whereas last time he had like a 90% chance of winning this round. Like probably even higher than that. Like to get that further would be pretty unlucky, but I understand taking that risk.
Actually, again, yeah, attacking with the 2 attack Poros. I don't like this because your opponent has 2 3 health blockers they could have lined up on, and actually Franco Dell's not going to punish him for it. Doesn't throw the Elise under the Lonely Poro, instead throws the Spiderling under the bus. My concern was that overall, I think you give your opponent 3 more draws when you did that. They draw on your turn, or sorry, they draw on, yeah, your turn, their turn, and then your turn again, which is just more time to find something like Decimate into Noxian Fervor or another Demolitionist into Noxian Fervor. And it does sort of, open up. They have to find these specific cards, but even going to be able to push through a little bit of damage here.
I'd probably even consider I'd probably consider recalling again, just to reduce the possibility of something coming out next turn, namely the Decimate. Looking in.
So if you develop an elusive this turn, then you just win next turn because your opponent doesn't have anything that can kill it. If they go for a Noxian Fervor, you have the Will of Ionia. So yeah, even if you go to 4 this turn, I think you're more than fine to do that because you don't have to play the Windfarer Hatchling. You can just get down the Navori Conspirator this turn, and then you have lethal on the following turn with an open attack. How did Orb Meister win game 1 of the finals of the Poros?
We're not going to talk about it, right? Oh, interesting.
Oh, actually, just going to go for the Mighty Poro over. I mean, yeah, Franco doesn't have any blockers. You don't need to play elusives if there aren't anything that can block them anyway. Going to get down the elusive Poro for Spike. The GG Shen coming out of Franco Dell. And yeah,
People are going to ask me, on the Poro Snacks, people are going to ask me, how was your first Legends of Runeterra cast? And I'm going to go, well, let me tell you about that.
It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill from here. My word, well played with that Poro deck coming out surprisingly again on top.
And that does mean we're going to see the Fizz Draven come out now. What?
I love this deck. I'm not even angry.
I've actually been, I feel like I've flip-flopped so many times on whether or not I like the Poros, but I do stand by the fact that I actually do like this Draven Fizz deck a fair bit.
Gangplank Sejuani coming out.
Which means it was the Heimer Vi that was banned. That makes a lot of sense. That's the scariest deck in the format. But the one problem that I had... So, I'm actually also not sure how I feel about the Pilfer into aggro matchups, specifically burn matchups, because the Pilfer deck kind of plays like a Bannerman deck to me. It constantly wants to curve out and play tempo and things like that. But on the other hand, they don't have a lot of removal. Make It Rain and Parlay are the only removal spells that they have, and sure, you can steal some off the Pilfer, but it can be hard to consistently trigger the Pilfer cards while you're fighting for board against your opponent.
Just need to say as well, this is a great starting hand for Orb. In terms of as aggro goes, this is probably one of the most and the transfusion draw around too. Dude, this is a filthy hand. As a dirty aggro player myself, if I drew this, I'd be like, I'm winning. I wouldn't even think I could lose with this deck. I don't care who I'm against or what I'm against. This is a winning starting hand.
I actually really like the Crimson Disciple rather than an open attack. The Ruthless Raider opens up as a possibility now from Franco Dell to kind of punish this, but it takes the Make It Rain off the table. And it looks like it might not take the Make It Rain off the table. Franco Dell kind of considering it anyway. It could also be a parlay. It is coming all the way from the left of the hand, so maybe he didn't have it turn 1. Or a warning shot into a black market merchant.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
What can we steal? Oh, there's a pilfer package in. Yeah, there's the pilfered goods stolen off the top. That's.
Oh,
We knew Franco
let's see it.
Dell's pilfer RNG was playing for him pretty well, but I didn't think it was going to play out this well.
Pedro to mind streaming on Discord so that we can maybe see his hand ourselves.
That's true. I would like to see what actually got stolen out there. But yeah, I'm not. There are specific cards that he would have to steal from Orb Meister in order to sort of mount a comeback anyway. There's because Orb Meister's not playing Piltover and Zon, there's actually not a lot of removal in the deck, so it's not like he can fight for board any better than he already was.
Yeah. 100% of the time here, and you use those two transfusions to make whatever trades that exist be favorable. I think even attacking with the Crimson is fine, because if they decide to block that, it would have to be with a 3-1, knowing that they could transfusion it.
I'm thinking about Orb Meister's attacks, and I understand wanting to leave open the transfusions, and that's why we're not seeing the Draven come down, but I'm not convinced that there's a punish necessarily on the side of Franco Dell either if you do just play the Draven.
This is a really good turn. Make it rain, potentially? Oh! Oh!
So
the transfusion's going down on the Grenadier for sure. Potentially, almost definitely for the most left. Oh, does he?
So you could put transfusion number 1 onto, yeah, for example,
Yeah,
put that onto the Disciple, and then transfusion number 2 goes onto the Precious Pet.
Love it.
And this actually pushes a lot of damage if everything goes. Okay, yeah, that's 8 damage coming through from the Precious Pet hit, the Grenadier dying, the Disciple taking another hit.
Was that a 10-round damage swing?
I believe so. And that's only with 1 attack going through.
I definitely 100% would have always thought the transfusions were the better things to use this round. But my word.
But he did pick up the Noxian Fervor.
You know what? I would still... Would I be angry with a 6-turn? He's doing a lot of damage, nevertheless. Is it as much as he could have done? No, but... I think that wasn't a terrible round for him. The only problem now is that he's starting to run out of, a bit of steam.
Yeah.
Which, now that I look at the hand that exists with Orb Meister, I'm thinking, I don't think he currently has the win in hand. The problem with burn decks is that it only takes one top deck to really change how your board looks, because it opens so much potential for combat tricks, but...
Yeah, there is also the really awkward part that there's only 1 removal spell in Orb Meister's deck, and Franco managed to get that after stealing a Pilfered Goods. And the problem with the Pilfer deck is that they don't have a lot of removal, but I mean, if you just take the only removal spell out of your opponent's deck, we saw him take a double Vengeance the game before, now stealing one of the Noxian Fervors, things just playing really well for Franco Dell here. Probably the best Pilfer player I've ever seen in terms of sheer RNG.
That's nice, mate.
That's nice. Would have loved to see your opponent, at 2, or at 6 rather, would have the lethal here, yeah.
This round, yeah, if that didn't happen, but... I mean, well played for Franco for
stealing the right cards.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't believe it. I love it.
Yeah, that said, though, I mean, Orb Meister is up a game. Even if this game doesn't go his way due to the RNG, it is the only game that Franco Dell gets to play with the Pilfer, and I'm not, necessarily convinced that the Noxian Spider deck has a phenomenal matchup into this Draven deck.
You know what? I'm not even going to put money on anything anymore. I've come to the conclusion that anything that we say will be used as evidence in a court of law. No, that we say will either definitely happen if it's something insane, or it won't happen if it's something that should happen, right? His Poro deck shouldn't win, continues to win.
This is, I mean, Orb Meister is still in a really good spot, right? If a Decimate comes off the top at any point, he does just win. He's 1 damage off of lethal, given the current board state.
And this is the thing with aggro, as I was saying earlier, truthfully, it's really insane just how quick a couple of top deck burn cards can kind of save your ass. it's mad.
I think you go for the Demolitionist onto the Draven here, and then I think you even go for the Noxian Fervor when the Draven gets challenged.
100%.
Things are a little bit awkward here. There's only 1 Noxian Fervor left in the deck. I don't know if you're necessarily super concerned with leaving enough units on board in case you do draw the next Noxian Fervor, but Franco Dell is actually threatening a fair amount of damage on this turn.
He's playing it on the 3/3 justing. Does he have anything that can eat?
It looks like he's not planning on Noxian Fervoring the Draven and is instead just going to preserve his life total. That's actually not going to be the case. Well, actually, now it's fine. If you assumed that your opponent wasn't going to overwhelm the Draven, then the Noxian Fervor here actually feels a lot better. This implies that he's not going for the Fervor at all.
Yeah, there's no reason to. He has units on board that are perfectly healthy.
Yeah, I just kind of figured he would have used it on the Draven to get the damage in. Instead, he's just going to trade onto this.
It's a lot of damage coming through as well.
Yeah, I do like hanging on.
Boulevard, I'm calling it. You ready?
Tell me his hand's not all Warning Shot.
The Decimate.
Oh, no.
He pilfered the Decimate. I'm calling it now.
I mean, we haven't...
Orb Meister has lethal right.
Yeah, this is... Why do you have to do this to me? There's the Yordle Grifter. That's...
He's top decked it. I'm calling it.
Oh, this is scary.
No, it's fine. It's fine. He wins anyway with priority now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about a second, like the 3rd Noxian Fervor being stolen or something. I think that's the only card that gets him out of this, is stealing the 3rd Noxian Fervor. Yeah, Warning Shot, not gonna... Oh, wait. Does he have 3 That's 2 Warning Shots, that's 3. Don't tell me he's got 4 Warning Shots in hand. Okay. Oh my god.
Okay.
I was about to shit your pants.
Oh my god.
But that is Orb Meister picking that one up 2-0. Your 2-time OLS champion back-to-back. Orb Meister with the Poros and the... What did we watch here today, Wolf? What?
I don't know what to say other than that was incredible.